We talked about this a couple of months ago, that he was facing jail time in connection with trying to hide approximately $9 million in earnings from the IRS back in 2011. But now things are really coming to a head. Sorrentino pled guilty to charges that could land him behind bars for up to 15 years. He's going to have sentencing on April 25th. His brother, who allegedly, well, they're calling him masterminded the scam. I don't think it's a mastermind when you do this idiotic stuff, but he's facing 25 years for tax evasion. So, Guru, what are some of the mistakes the situation made leading to this situation?
Well, he really created quite a problem for himself. So the obvious biggest mistake that he made was not declaring all of his income. This is, and I think everyone knows this, this is the cardinal sin when it comes to the IRS. I mean, they don't like it when you don't declare all your income. It's not a gray area. This is black and white. There's absolutely no excuse for it. So you don't have to be an accountant, King, to know, common sense-wise, that you have to pay tax on the income you earn. I mean, all of a sudden, where did anybody start to think that you can make money and the government is not going to have their hands in your pocket? I mean, come on, it's what the news cycle is all about. And we just had tax reform discussions, and I know what he did was before that, but this has always been out in front of everything. So he allegedly didn't pay taxes on $9 million of income. This is not some small amount or isolated, King. When you're talking about that much money, you have to look at there was probably intent not to pay tax on that money, and that's the key word here, intent, because when you are looking at intentionally, not a mistake, but intentionally not declaring your income, that's when it becomes a criminal matter as opposed to civil, where if you just make a mistake, okay, you made a mistake, you got to pay your tax, you got to pay some penalties and interest, but we're not talking about your freedom here. Mike Sorrentino is looking at a situation where he's going to go to jail. So the other big mistake here is who he selected to be his tax preparer. Greg Mark is the accountant in this matter, and he pled guilty to conspiracy and admitted to preparing false tax returns. You know, once that happens, once the accountant, shall we say, rolls over, the taxpayer has very little chance of getting out of this. So my guess is that the situation is going to jail along with his brother. He is taking a plea, and that's going to lessen his time. But I would be shocked if he isn't going to serve time. I would almost guarantee it. And look, the real message here is that don't mess with the IRS. You have to declare all of your income. And for the accountants out there, when you have a client, and I'm sure the situation knew what was going on and didn't want to pay his taxes as he was supposed to by declaring all his income, if you're the accountant involved in a situation like this, you have got to drop this client and run for the hills, because as we can see in this circumstance, it's not only the taxpayer that gets in a lot of trouble, it's also the tax preparer.
Is there any coincidence, Guru, that the sentencing is April 25th, 10 days after tax day?
Not at all, because, and that's a great point, King, because what the IRS tries to do when you have high profile tax cases like this is to keep it in the news. So I'm sure right around April they're going to be talking about, in a few weeks, Mike, the situation Sorrentino is going to be sentenced for tax evasion. So they want to give everybody a gentle reminder not to play around with your tax returns. Do the right thing.